10 years of my life. That's how long cigarettes was part of my daily routine, and 5 years ago I smoked my last one. Looking back on it now, stop smoking was probably the best decision I make in my entire life. Not because it was easy, was incredibly hard, but because what everything it offered me and what I learned because of it. I want to share here my story because there is millions of people around the world who smoke, and some of them maybe deep down they know they want to stop. Maybe you are waiting for the right moment, maybe you're saying to yourself I'm too addicted, maybe you think that cigarette is just small tiny thing in your life, and honestly I thought the same. But eventually I realized something. Cigarettes don't just take away our money and our health, but they slowly, piece and piece, taking away our freedom from us as well. And as many smokers, I didn't start smoking because I want to be addicted. Nobody starts smoking and start thinking, this will one day control my life. Usually it starts when you are young. Maybe the people you are around smoking, or you try to fit in, or there is that peer pressure. Maybe you want to look older, cooler, more confident. A cigarette on the beginning feel absolutely harmless. It's just one, it's just socially, I don't get addicted so easily. And my personal favorite, I can stop whatever I want. But slowly, cigarettes become part of your identity and they become connected to everything. Morning coffee, need a cigarette. Have a great lunch, need a cigarette. Going out with the friends, need a cigarette. Have a pint, need a cigarette. Stressful day, cigarette. And eventually down the road, you might not even realize, but you are not choosing to have a cigarette. The cigarette choose you. One of the biggest signs for me that cigarettes take control of my life was that I realized I cannot focus for a long period of time. Like I cannot just sit still and start doing something. Every hour or hour and a half is that quiet voice in my head. Go have a cigarette, go to have a cigarette. And by doing this, I never managed to enter the flow. Like I was always just going up and down. I have to have interruption in everything I was doing. Working, exercising, just having fun. Always I have to make break for the cigarette. And slowly I just realized that cigarette is not just something would give me pleasant feeling, but is slowly and surely taking the freedom of my decisions away from me. The first realization came to me when I started more thinking about my future. Money is the one thing, cigarettes are pretty expensive. And when you start doing maths and calculate how much actually your habit cost you over the years, it gets into shocking numbers. You are literally just keep paying money for something which literally harms you day by day. But honestly for me, money was never the biggest reason. The biggest reason for me was life. And one of the biggest story in my life was actually losing my grandfather in his early 60s. Some people might have whatever action actor as a male idol, but my male idol till this day is my grandfather. And when I see him passing out, literally see him passing out at his early 60s, at really good physical shape, just because of damage of cigarette caused to him, it hit me hard. And I start thinking myself, later on, was thinking about that story. I have a wife, I have a family, I have a reason to live, and I don't want cigarettes take away so much of my lifetime as they are doing. And I have that one thought about myself. I need to stop smoking so I can show that I love myself, because only if I truly, deeply love myself and avoid putting myself unnecessary in danger and harmful positions, I can truly love others around me. Having family for me was the number one reason why I stopped smoking. I want to be here longer, I want to be healthier, and I want to enjoy as much time as I have on this world, and don't try give it to cigarettes so they chip away the years of my life just for some small pleasure. And then, day from day, I just decided to quit. I remember that day very well. I stay on the window in the apartment when we rent and I smoke my last cigarette. I throw it and I say, this one is the last one. I don't even think about it. How I do it was first time I ever try it, and I decided just go straight up cold turkey. Not any plasters, not any pills, none of that jokes. I just went straight in. And somehow I succeed, and I'm actually very proud of it myself that I tried first time and I succeed the first time. I think I could be only more proud of myself if I never started in the first place. And I believe as well the one of the biggest part what helped me to quit is my stubborn personality. You know, I'm that type of a person which truly believe I can go through the concrete wall with my head. You know, it's either my way or no way. And I always live my life like this. And I decide I don't give cigarettes any chance of ever slipping in my life back again. And when that feeling creep in, I absolutely refuse to negotiate myself or maybe just want, no, you don't smoke and that's it. And I don't say it was easy, it was, was miserable actually, but I just stick with my decision and I go through it. But it was really horrible. I have a stomach cramps, I can sleep, I overeat, I get irritated in split second. I was constantly angry, like I wasn't nothing like my old self. And then I actually realized my body was desperately screaming for something I was putting in it for 10 long years. But I still decided to ignore that call. One of my favorite personal story, because it looks almost movie-like, was I remember we move into house and I desperately want to smoke. And I live in Ireland, and if you know, we have a lovely rainy weather almost non-stop here, and it was winter. And I remember I went outside on the garden and it was pissing rain in cold, terrible winter night. I stay there, close my eyes, let myself absolutely get soaked through the water, say, this what you like? You like to be soaking wet on the windy? You know, like you feel like everything was wrong. I feel cold, windy, it was raining. Yeah, you want to go outside, smoke, smoke, smoke. But I didn't have cigarette, just stay here to kind of punish myself. And then when I let myself completely soaked, completely cold, I say to myself, this is what you want? This is what you miss? This is what you are willing to go through just to get your next fix? Do you letting actually cigarettes control you that much so you are willing to go through this? And that conversation that day I have with myself, it stick very deeply in my head. And I remind myself in that moment that cigarette is not something help me solve the problem, but I'm actually creating problem and then buying solution for it. And after around the 3 months of me stop smoking, it started getting way more easy. The craving wasn't as that long or as that intense, but I still have moments. Sometimes I see someone smoke cigarette and have that little urge, but it wasn't as intense or as long as it was before. And I know if I went through hell before, I can definitely handle this. And then sort of improvements start getting my big motivation, because after a few weeks I realized I can smell way better than I ever smelled before. This was first major improvement I truly feel. My body was basically telling me that I make correct decision. But the most interesting part for me was my heart rate. After a year of stop smoking, I always keep myself in really good physical shape, I wanna believe, but my heart rate dropped from 50 beats per minute at rest at 40. And that was a huge difference. I start to feel less tired, my conditioning improved a lot, as you can say, and I just genuinely feel as a better version of myself. And after maybe 3 years, I noticed something strange. The smell, which I used to love back in the day, was getting disgusting to me. And I realized when I walk around the people which smoke, I start holding my breath, which I never did before. So the same smell I used to love back in the day start to be truly disgusting to me, which was amazing feeling, by the way. Now I want to speak a little bit why I think cigarettes are a bit different from other drugs or habit, what people do. So hear me up on this one. When you go for Friday or Saturday to drink with your friends, you go in, you drink, you experience that sort of steep change in how you see the world, and then you come back. And your body have, usually in that good case, if you're not terrible with it, have a week to recover, so your brain chemistry, body chemistry, everything get back to normal. But with cigarettes, it's not there, because most of the people don't manage to smoke just socially or all the weekends. They smoke non-stop. It become their identity as it become mine. And one thing what I feel, you never really have time to recover. Like you smoke one cigarette and after 2 hours or 1 hour or even 30 minutes in terrible cases, you back again and you back again. And you just, your body never have that time when it can truly rest and clear all the toxins out of your body. And for the bigger picture, around the world, people smoke 5 to 6 trillions of cigarettes each year, which is ridiculous if you ask me. But the good news on this is that smoking rates is slowly going down around the world. And I personally, genuinely really like what is Australia or New Zealand's doing with the cigarettes, try to limit their sale or make them in the future possibly unable to sell to young people, so you can have new generation of smokers, which I find, to be honest, absolutely hilarious. But the main cost of cigarettes is not just personal, because I believe that cigarettes highly affect the people around you and affect how long you will live, how much time you will have to enjoy with your family, and quality of life you will have as well. Many people gasp the air, breathe hardly because of cigarettes, and it doesn't have to be this way. I just think if you compare it for the drug for what it is, the cigarettes take away way more than they offer. And eventually I kind of come into conclusion that I'm not having next cigarette to enjoy it, I'm just having to mask the withdrawal feeling. So it's not worth it. And now my message for everyone who wants to quit the cigarettes. I believe if you truly want to quit the cigarettes, that has to happen one of the two things. First of the reason is more nicer one, and I believe you need to get true, real, hard internal motivation. For me that motivation was family. For me that motivation was seeing passing my grandfather and knowing deep down that I wanted more years and more quality time to spend with my family. And the second thing is a bit more sad one, and I know many people manage to quit because of that. In sad cases they don't, but it's sudden health effect. You know, people, and my grandfather was this case, they might get stroke, they might get heart attack, or they might get really strong sudden warning that, hey, pump the brakes, is not good, doing you any favor. And for some people this signal, it's strong enough for stop, but unfortunately, some people, like my grandfather, just double down on the decision and keep going through. So I truly, deeply not wish to no one that this will be your reason to quit. But if it happen and you make it work, then fair play to you. But I highly recommend to try to find yourself strong internal motivation rather than waiting for some unnecessary, because smoking is not necessary, we can live without it. So unnecessary health event from smoking. So 5 years later on, from me being absolutely cigarette and tobacco free, I can say a few things. I gain my health back, I get loads of money back, and I gain back my freedom and decision to do with my time what I want, when I want, and is not dictated by cigarettes. And if you smoke, I'm not here to judge you. I know how hard it is, been there myself, it's nightmare. But I wanna be that person, stay on the other side of the bridge and give you my hand and try to invite you to pass through it. It's a hard journey, it's not easy, that's why not everybody can make it, but I truly believe if you find a deep reason for yourself, you can just go through it and make it. For your future self, for your future or current family, I don't know situation you're in, I believe that life for you when you don't need a cigarette is waiting for you in that other side of the bridge. Decision is yours. I hope so in this video I managed to share my story and I offer you maybe different perspective how you see smoking, and if you smoking and you try to stop, I will be really proud if that video will serve you as a small help in your journey. Thank you so much for watching guys, and see you with the next one.